Hi, hello there, all my fellow video game collectors. Jason here, trying to give you a little review of the Turbo Grafx Turbo Duo system. Came out when I was about 15, 16 years old. Came out when the Genesis came out. I remember I was going Genesis all the way, being a fan of the Sega Master System that I owned. But Turbo Grafx, I remember when I saw videos playing at Toys R Us, it looked like the games were going to be really good. I really thought it was going to give the Genesis a run for its money, but it never did. And by the time the Super Nintendo came out, pretty much the system had no chance. It's kind of been a hidden system for a while. A lot of people starting to figure out that there's some pretty damn good games for this system. So I picked this system up back in 2009 with 38 games. The Turbo Express for a really good price, $250, which nowadays probably not going to happen. But should you spend your money? Should you look for these games? Yes, you should. They're only getting more expensive. The secret system that no one knew about, everybody's starting to figure it out now. So I did play. I have close to 100 games for the system, including the CD games. I played about 20 of the games over the last year. It sat on my shelf for a while. I knew I wanted to get around to playing it, so I finally did, and I wish I would have played it earlier, but I plan on playing a lot of the games over the next few years, if not all of them. So I've picked 20 games here that I've played and let you know if it's worth your time and effort and your money to go and get them. The system is known for its shooters. Aero Blaster, very good shooter, not as good as Blazing Lasers, although I haven't played it yet. I do have it. That's on my list to play soon. This was still a lot of fun, probably around a $30, $40 game. I think it's worth the money. It's a fun shooter, especially if you like shooters, and this is a system to go for. And you have a video pinball game, Alien Crush, probably around a $35 game, one of the best video pinball games I've ever played, and I've played a lot of them for Genesis computers. Very good ball physics, very good music, well worth your money. Bomberman, a great game for this system. I spent $50 for it. I got it for Christmas last year, actually, $50, and worth every penny. I couldn't put this game down until I passed it. The challenge starts off good, nice and easy. By the time you get to the last level, your skills should be good enough, and this is one of the better games. Probably going to cost you around $50, $60 for the game, but I think it's well worth it. Then you got Bonks Adventure, which is kind of their mascot. It rejuvenated the system when it came out. Very good platformer with really bright graphics. A lot of the games for the system, by the way, very good, bright, colorful graphics and music. Very good challenge, nice bosses. I had a lot of fun playing all the way to the end of it. Probably around a $30 game. And don't get mad at me if my prices are way off, because prices fluctuate like crazy when collecting video games, and you should know that. Then you got Bonks Revenge, which some people say is better than the first one. I think it had a little bit more colorful graphics, music about the same, challenge about the same, but I actually like the first one a little bit more. Most people like this one a little more. The only thing I know for sure about more is it's going to cost you a little bit more. This is more about around a $40 to $50 game for this, but really fun, especially if you like the first one. Pick up the second one as well. Then you get China Warrior, which some people say is the worst game for the system. I didn't think it was all that bad. It's an auto-scroller beat-em-up. All you gotta do is memorize the patterns of the attacking enemies, button mash when you get to the bosses, and before you know it, you'll have the game passed or pretty close to it, and it's not a bad game. This game probably gonna run you around like $25, $30. You might want to pick it up loose for a lot cheaper. You probably pick it up loose for $10 to $15 and make your own decision. Not a bad game, but not a good game. You could not collect that game and still feel good about yourself. Cybercore, another shooter. This one, you're kind of like a hybrid bug kind of human ship, and you can transform into four different ships that fire 4 different weapons. I really like this one. I think I like this one a little bit more than Aero Blaster. This one's probably about a $30 to $40 game. Again, if you like shooters, there you go. Then you got Devil's Crush, which is the sequel to Alien Crush, and I think a little bit better than Alien Crush. More expensive, too. This is probably more around a $50, $60 game. Probably the best video pinball game I've ever played. The music's great, the board is great, the physics great. Really good game. I think you should hunt it down. Then we have Dragon's Curse, which is a remake of one of my favorite games of all time, which is Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon Trap on the Sega Master System. This one's got better graphics, better sound quality, but all in all, it's almost an exact replica of the Sega Master System game. This is probably about a $50, $60 game, And one of my all-time favorites. I can't recommend this enough. Go get this game. I think you'll truly love it. I can't imagine you're not liking it. Then we have one of the CD games here. We have Exile, which was a Workings Design games. I picked this out particularly because it's Working Designs. Now this is trying to be a hybrid of like a platformer adventure game with some role-playing game elements in it, but when it all comes down to, it's kind of like a platform adventure game with a religious story, and it's not bad, not good, probably about a $30–40 game. I think some of Working Designs games are better than this, but it was still a decent game. You could do without it though, but if you like Working Designs like I do, go ahead and pick it up. Fantasy Zone, another game that I originally had on the Sega Master System. This one is a little bit more colorful. I think it's a little easier too, probably because you could use the turbo switches. Still a lot of fun. It's one of the first ever cute 'em up, shoot 'em ups. Probably about a $25–30 game. Plays like a little bit like Defender, how you could scroll back and forth. Really fun game. I don't think you'll go wrong with that one. This is my warning game right here. Stay away from Gunboat. This probably costs you about $30–35. Because boy, you look at that cover, it looks like you're a boat just going down the river, shooting, killing everything in sight. It's a simulator game with horrible controls, horrible sound, horrible graphics. Don't even get it. Don't even get it. It's a waste of time. Pick it up loose or borrow it from somebody, and I think you'll agree that you'll be happy you didn't buy it. Let me buy it and do all the suffering for you. Keith Courage and Alpha Zones, that was the pack-in title for the system when it came out. This is your very average platformer. You could probably pick up this game for $10. You shouldn't pay more than $10. You know, it's the first part of the stage, you're walking around, buying money, killing things, trying to upgrade, and then the second part, you turn into the Alpha Suit. That's where the game gets more fun, but it's very average, very basic game. Worth the $10, but don't pay more than $10 for it. And there's a million copies of them out there. If you're going to collect Turbo Grafx, you're probably just going to get it by accident anyways. Last Alert, another one of the CD games, a run and gun type of game. A lot of fun, but get this game. It's probably going to cost you around $30. Get this game just for the cheese factor, the voice acting in this game. You know, I love like Resident Evil with its cheesy voice. I love that stuff, that early stuff where it was just very cheesy. This is very cheesy. You're going to love it. Legendary Axe, probably should have been the pack-in game. Very fun game, platformer. Challenging. Never made it up to end boss, but it was such a fun game. I kept trying. I got close. I would say it's definitely better than Keith Courage, and I think Bonk was a little bit better, but this game probably run you about $30. There's a lot of copies of them out there. Really fun platformer game. Military Madness, strategy game. I love strategy games, whether it's wartime fantasy or whatever. This is a really good game, probably running around $40–50. Probably one of the better games I played for the system, but I just love strategy games. Great game. Very good music in it too, especially when you get to the last level. Very epic music. Then you have, we got Monster Lair, which is kind of a Wonder Boy type of spin-off. This is like a shooter where at one point you're running on the ground, auto-scrolling shooter, and then the second part you're flying. I don't remember, it was a dragon. I played it last year. Really bright, colorful graphics. I thought it was a lot of fun. This one probably run you around anywhere from $30–40. Again, if you love shooters, which is what the Turbo Grafx is all about, you might as well pick it up. Speaking of shooters, we got another cute 'em up, Auradine. Plays a little bit like Fantasy Zone in a way. Horizontal shooter. I thought the challenge was a little bit tough. I didn't get all that far. I didn't think it was as good as Aeroblasters or Cybercore, but this one probably run you, again, around $30–40. Still a fun game. Then you have Splatter House, which I remember when this came out in the arcades, it blew me away. It was, with all the grossiness, it was like one of the first gross kind of scary games out there. This is a very good cover of the arcade game. I haven't played the arcade game in so long, but when I played this, it followed it pretty close. This is a more expensive game. This one's probably going to run you around $50–60, but it's a great game for the system, and yes, you should get it. And last one is Victory Run, which is a driving game, of course. It's kind of like a rally game. It wasn't all that good. Probably run you around $25 for it. You could do without it, but I thought it was somewhat fun. whether you want to pick it up or not is was up to you. So that's just some games really quick there. Just trying to keep this video short. Hope you enjoy it. Leave any comments and go get the system now before it gets too expensive.